Okay, my paper Saunders.
Gregory.
Eagle looking great. You're go.
And we're rolling, Gregory.
Greg Saunders.
Wow. Hey, great.
Show us the skills that have made you a media darling.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, 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 welcome to the Saturday Morning State Line Show.
Okay, so help me. Horrible and terrible are synonyms, but horrific and terrific are opposites. I'm Greg. He's Tom. It's your Saturday Morning State Line Show for the 8th day of July of the year 2023, the latest it has ever been
in the history of mankind.
Congratulations. You made it. We've got a good show for you. We're going to be on location with our guest today. ERNIE FUHR is with Next Rockford, and they've got something going on at Severson Dells Nature Center. So we're going to bring him on here in just a little bit. I've got some shout outs to get to real quick. And before that, a big number of the week. Our current race to 10 has Tom way out in front by a score of 2-1. And
just absolutely blowing her away. Absolutely
blowing her away. The last race to 10 was won by Tom after like a 2 or 3 win streak by Joann. So we'll see how that goes for the summer months. Big number of the week this week is 1 billion with a B. And the answer is flying or fuel. Flying or fuel. We'll give you the answer at the end of the show. By the way, this is episode 169 in the continuing saga of will we ever get back on WROK radio? We don't know.
I don't know. Did I wonder if I spelled it right? I don't know.
Okay, you're texting.
I sent it to you.
You did. You spelled it right.
Of course.
Shout outs for this week. Want to say, of course, kudos to Starlight Theater, Rock Valley College. They wrapped up the first half of their season this last weekend with the closing of Cinderella, which was way fun. If it's not the children's book Cinderella that you may remember, it's fun for the whole family. It's very family friendly, but you know how sometimes the good cartoons had just a little bit of quote unquote adult humor to kind of keep the adults engaged. There's a little bit of that in the Cinderella production at Starlight Theater. It's fun, funny, very family friendly, but enough of, the pageantry of it all is really something special. So if you didn't get to see Cinderella for its first run, make sure you catch it at the end of the next run. Footloose reopens to the public this Wednesday and runs through Sunday night. There is a Sunday night show that closes out the Footloose run for the season.
So Cinderella will still run. It's going to run again in late July, middle to
late July or early August. Yeah. So
okay.
Footloose reopens again this Wednesday, a week from this Wednesday. In the Heights comes back in, and that is just a spectacular show. Oliver is the week after that, and then Cinderella after that. When Cinderella wraps,
please,
may I have some more? No one's ever asked for more. The Stinky Cheese Man, which is very kids, all about kids, is the last show of the season. They do a 3-day run. It's a shorter show, helping introduce kids to the theater. So highly, highly, highly recommend taking the kids to go see Stinky Cheese Man at the end of the Starlight season. So there you go. There's your 5 shows at Starlight Theater, the 4 main shows and the kids show, Stinky Cheese Man. And then, of course, Sunday night, Rock Valley College Starlight Theater hosted the Rockford Symphony Orchestra. They had their annual patriotic special there, and that was just wonderful. The music was great. They didn't do fireworks this year, and I guess they didn't do them last year either. The expense.
I thought they were going to do them.
I thought so too. I just was one of those tradition things you just kind of get used to, and it's like, oh no, we cut that out. I don't know if it was a scheduling issue or a funding issue, but either way, They didn't do the fireworks, but not necessary. The band, the orchestra, absolutely top notch. We have such a great orchestra here in Rockford. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
saw Joe Dredge out there. He was one of the volunteers for RSO, helping ushering and doing whatever they needed. So howdy,
Nice.
howdy, and kudos to them. 4th of July, I should say the day before the 4th of July, my wife and I took the canoe out up on the Kishwaukee River and just enjoyed some nature, fairly quiet. There's quite a few people on the river on Monday before the 4th of July. But if you have yet to take a kayak or a canoe on the Kishwaukee, there's a lot of different places where you can go in and just drift down the river and get out at Atwood. Or because I don't, I have multiple vehicles and have people pick me up, I'll just dump in at Atwood and I'll paddle upstream as far as my muscles will take me, and then I'll coast back. And
Oh, wow.
I really enjoy that. Gives me a good workout and enjoy some nature. We saw 3 deer. We didn't normally, you see quite a few turtles. But I didn't really see any turtles this time around. But we saw 3 deer, a bunch of great birds and such. And just a really good nature time. 4th of July spent with family out at my brother-in-law's pool. Had a really good time on the 4th of July. Want to give a shout out to some Sold on Tony team, Sold on Tony, Keller Williams Realty Signature clients. One that closed yesterday after a bit of a 3-year, a picture of persistence. We'll call Miranda a picture of persistence. 3 years ago in June, we were under contract to buy a house, and then pandemic layoffs hit her right between the eyes. She got let go of her job before we could close, had to terminate the contract. Very disappointing. Took a deep breath, regathered ourselves. She got a different job, got a better job, kept her credit score up, and finally closed on her first home purchase yesterday. So kudos.
All right. So this thought, not to interrupt your mojo here, but this thought just entered my mind.
Yep.
Significant event, April 7th, I believe it was, or something like that. 1912, the Titanic sank. Actually, it was April 11th or 12th. We still talk about it today. There's been movies about it, blah, blah, blah. That was a horrible thing. The Spanish flu. It was 1918, I think, which was essentially that era's COVID. How long is it going to be that this COVID that we just went through these last couple of years, how long is it going to be that we hang on to this, that we talk about it, that we say it was such a dark period? Because theoretically, you can argue about the numbers because we know the numbers were inflated for a lot of people, whatever. But millions of people were affected. Millions died. Hundreds of millions, if not 300, 400, 500 million worldwide were affected negatively, whether they lost their job, whether they, got really, really sick, whether they lost a loved one. This thing was huge.
Yeah, or Miranda ready to purchase her first house, and that
yes. Well, we lost our radio.
We lost it. Yeah. Michael and Linda checking in. One on the LinkedIn, one on the Facebook. Good to see you guys out there. Last 2 quick shout outs. I want to give a shout out really quick to Phantom Regiment for hosting another great night at NIU Husky Stadium last night. They used to call it the Tournament of Champions. Now it's called the Midwest Classic. There were, I want to say, was it 8 amazing drum corps out there last night. A lot of times when they do these bigger shows, you'll have a couple of smaller teams come, and it's the first few shows are they're good. That's nice, and then the bigger teams the bigger corps hits you, and it's like, wow. Pretty much every single corps last night was big and really, really good. What was really exciting about last night was the team from Boston was in town. The Boston Crusaders, Boston.
Maybe the Midnight Riders.
Yeah, right. They have been a really good team now for a number of years. They ended up winning last night. They scored over 80 points. It's 80 point, 753 or whatever. They get really into the details of what they judge. And Phantom came in second, which they've got a great show this year. They're going to be at Boylan a week from tonight with the other show that they do locally. And that show, again, will have 7 or 8 drum corps there. And that will be the show with some of the smaller corps that, they're the up and comers, the younger kids that are still kind of learning. But there's at least, I think, 3 big corps that will be competing against Phantom for the top spot of the show. They call it the show of shows. It's at Boylan.
Okay. And then when is the actual championship where you can say, oh, we won in 2020?
Yeah, mid-August, early August in Indianapolis. That's on my bucket list. I want to go to that show, to that competition, because it's like 4 days.
Oh, 4 days.
Yeah,
I can't go.
Well, you'd pick 1 or 2 days to go. You wouldn't, and that's maybe.
Oh, okay. I would love to go. I would absolutely love to go. If you end up going by yourself or something like that, let me know.
Yeah,
my schedule's free enough now to where I could grab a day here, grab a day there.
Would be pretty awesome. And the last shout out for today, happy birthday to my buddy Joe Buchanan, who's down at WBGL in Illinois, and the late great Stan the Man Bringle. He passed 5 years ago now, already coming up in August. But
this show that we're doing right now was we're like a spinoff of what we did on WROK. When I first started back in 2007, immediately within 2 weeks, I took over producing that show with Shannon Zimmerman and Stan Bringle. And it was
Shannon.
Yeah, and what it was the State Line Shopper Show. If I'm calling it right, because there was also one on the other station across town. They also had a shopper show, and I don't remember what our name was, but anyway, so we did that for probably 3 years, 2 to 3 years, before Stan and Shannon then went to this format here. Then Stan left, he was let go, and then Todd took over, and then it was Todd and Shannon, and then you and I started doing it, or you started doing it. I was your producer, and then Joann hung on because she was with us when we were doing Todd and Shannon.
10 years ago this fall, we started the Saturday morning State Line show. So
yeah.
Here we are, episode 506, if you're keeping track from back then.
But add all of mine from,
another 500 onto that or whatever it was.
Probably, because it was almost double. Well, maybe not, because it was 2007 for me, April of 2007. So I started doing it probably in May, like about 2 to 3 weeks after.
Somewhere in the 800 or 900 range, anyway. Let's get to our guest. He's going to fall asleep out there at Severson Dells, and we don't want that to happen. Ernie is with Field Fastener. Ernie's a former teacher in the area, and we'll let him just tell us about his past. But very, very excited to have Ernie on to tell us all about next Rockford. Good morning to you, Ernie. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Greg. It's a beautiful day out here at Severson Dells. The birds are chirping and the sun's shining, and we've got our work cut out for us. We're going to be picking seeds. I understand that there's some seeds that are native to the area, the plants, and we're going to be picking them and preserving them, conserving them, and maybe doing a little bit of yard work around here, whatever they have lined up for us. So I'm looking forward to it. I guess we have 8 or 10 people coming out. And as I talk about Next Rockford, this is part of what we do, not only talk about things, but also do something. There's an action component. Yes. And this summer, we decided to just take 2 or 3 months and just help some good local causes. And Severson Dells is one of those causes.
Well, I'm going to put up the next Rockford logo here, Rick, next here, so people know what we're talking about. Tell everybody what is Next Rockford? Can you give us a little history on it and what it's all about?
Next Rockford is a civic group. We're a registered nonprofit of 501c6. That means we serve our members, and from that we serve the greater public. It was started about 18 years ago. There was some young professionals in Rockford that I think they just wanted to have a seat at the table. They wanted to have input and have their voices be heard when it comes to decisions affecting our community. And that's how they started Next Rockford. So Next Rockford, the phrase means a couple things. It means the next generation of leadership, and we have cultivated some leaders over Next Rockford's history. Next Rockford to me means to make sure that the next Rockford is just as good, if not better, than the last Rockford by improving on things in our community, the culture. We have 3 pillars. That's education, economic development, and health and public safety. So what we do is work on those 3 local topics. We have programs each month. We have a speaker from the area who will speak on whatever topic is in their specialty. And we've had some excellent speakers. I think you were at a few of them. We had recently Gary Anderson. We had Ron Kluwer. Last fall, we had the coroner, Jennifer Moraski, who's doing a wonderful job. That was a very interesting presentation. So we have a variety of speakers. But we're not just a speakers bureau. We also have an action component. We have strong programming with the speakers, but we decided to also do a couple things. One is the volunteering. We're at Severs and Dells today. Next month, yes, August, we're going to be out at Habitat for Humanity, lending them a hand on a build. We've also done some things with the Rockford Public Schools to help their academies, doing the mock interviews. We've volunteered for that. So we do some volunteering, and we're also doing some donating. Historically, we have supported financially the Family Peace Center by activities. We used to have a 5K, that was before COVID, and recently we co-sponsored their event they had out at Burpee Center. We believe Family Peace Center is a very good cause. And Severs and Dells. Maybe your listeners know this, but the Forest Preserve recently kind of detached Severs and Dells Education Center to where they're not going to be funding it any longer. Now, the Outdoor Education Center here was a very popular part of the program, and a lot of classes have come out here and learned about the environment and the outdoors. And now it's going to have to be privately funded. So that's quite a task. They're going to have to raise funds to sustain this. And we recently donated to a fundraiser they had, and we're out here lending a hand today. So these are a couple of the local nonprofits that we support, but there's so many. We don't want to just sit on our membership funds. We want to actually use it to help good causes.
Well, you've got one of the things that prompted me to go ahead and join Next Rockford. I've always been the type of guy who looked for all the free networking opportunities in the area. I wasn't going to spend a bunch of money to be in networking when there's so many good free opportunities, and there are.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw what you guys were up to. Like you just said, the quality of local speakers that you guys have in is just amazing. And of course, you kicked it off this year with the oh gosh, was it the sheriff in January? Or no, the state's attorney.
Yeah, we had the state's attorney. He walked us through a case. That was a good program. Then we met with Carla Red, the police chief.
And the mayor.
We have access to all these officials, and every 3 months we meet with the mayor and the county chairman, Joe Chirelli, in we call it Lunch with the Mayor and the Chairman. It's a Zoom meeting now, and it's very informative, very transparent. They do a good job answering questions, and so Next Rockford is a good vehicle to get involved and to have that access to other people.
And it's not an expensive group to join. So
I like to hear that, because first I thought, gee, 125, but yeah, you do get some value for your membership. It costs a little money and overhead to keep a group running. We have to pay insurance and things like that. You wouldn't think we do, but we use our funds for good causes as much as we can. We have events as well. So it is a good organization, and it's worth joining. We've been rebuilding our membership. I can talk to you a little bit about that too.
And it's not just for young people. It's yes, it's focusing on the next leadership, the next generation of leadership from Rockford. But for goodness sakes, they let me join, and I'm no young spring chicken anymore.
Yes. Originally it was young professionals. And I know the first meeting I went to about 4 years ago, I felt a little bit on the older side, and we've since changed that. And there's been some discussions about it. So it's just for professional people, young or not, because we have all ages.
So for someone that wants to jump in, you don't have to wait till the new year to join. You can jump in any time to join the next Rockford. And like I said, I see it as a huge value, the opportunity to network with other professionals that see Rockford as having a brighter future than we've had here in the recent past. And there's some really good things happening. And I know that a lot of it is encouraged by members of Next Rockford, and some of it even spearheaded by members of Next Rockford, which was really cool to see. I'm obviously a huge advocate of LinkedIn, seeing a lot of these professionals post what they're doing on LinkedIn and stuff. And I really am encouraged by seeing the great stuff that members and friends and businesses of those members are doing. So kudos to you guys for doing this and spearheading this. If someone wanted to come and just visit Next Rockford for the next event, is that something that's open for them to do without joining up front?
Yes, we encourage people to come to a couple of meetings first and kind of see what we're about. We have had people join up front, and we welcome that too, but just come out. We're going to have one in September. That's when we resume our monthly speaker programming. We're going to be meeting at the regional planning commission, and that's a more policy oriented discussion, but there's going to be a lot of information to know. And we're lining up our fall programs. It's always going to be good, but we recommend people to just attend a meeting and get a feel for it at first. I remember my first meeting. I'll tell you, I was kind of making a transition from teaching to the next chapter of my career. I'm in the private sector now, and I used to do workforce development also. So it was really a different group for me. And I remember I happened to be at a meeting. You know, I always wanted to be involved in the community. And when you're a school teacher, you just can't get out of the classroom. You're really tied to it all day long.
You did that for like 20 years, right? Teaching?
25 years in Rockford, yes.
Wow.
And it was time to just take that risk and do something else. And so I got out. I went to a meeting that was about the first Barbara Coleman project, which was being planned for Rock Valley, which later fell through, of course. And I remember the speaker was saying, get involved in your committee, get involved in your community. And I asked around, what committee? Is there some kind of citizens committee that I don't know about? And then I got emailed by Mary Jo Paragus, who's the former facilitator. And she invited me to come to a meeting. And I went to it, and, you know, it was a really kind of like a who's who, very prominent people and very outside of my box. But I kept attending and learning, and 4 years later, I'm the facilitator. I never would have expected that. I was asked. See, in Next Rockford, we have a facilitator. We don't call him director or president. We have a facilitator, vice facilitator, and our board of directors is called the strategy team. So it's really a collaborative effort. I have a lot of good people helping me implementing the programs we do and helping me make decisions. So it's not just me. I just kind of facilitate and keep things going. We've been rebuilding our membership. You know, during COVID, we were down to maybe 10 or 12 members a meeting. Now we're back to 25, 30. We're about at 40 members, and it's just getting better all the time.
It is. It really is. So I'm encouraged by what I'm hearing and seeing. And I think anyone who's got their fingers on the pulse of the Rockford region can see that we're on the upswing. Okay. If the economy and even the culture is a pendulum, maybe we've been on a downswing for a while, but we're back on the upswing again. And there's some good things happening. And the more people who can get involved and encourage that upswing to keep on going up, we definitely want to encourage people to keep on doing that. So did you grow up in Rockford yourself, Ernie, or did you move here with your first teaching job?
Well, that's a good question. I grew up on a farm in Rock Island County, and I moved here to take my first teaching job. And I didn't expect to stay here as long as I did. I thought, well, you know, I'll teach a couple years and I'll go to grad school and we'll just kind of see where this goes. Well, time really goes by fast and you get tied down, and the next thing you know, 30 years has gone by. I've seen a lot of changes in Rockford, some good, some bad. but I have to be optimistic, and that's what Next Rockford's about. I keep my fingers crossed, and I hope that things get better. Um, Funny you ask where I'm from, because that's one thing that I think Rockford is starting to overcome a little bit, because it's been said Rockford is the biggest small town. Everybody knows each other. And one thing that used to kind of drive me nuts is they'd say, where are you from? What high school did you go to? Oh, no, I'm not an ERAB. I didn't go to Boylan. And that's okay, because we got to welcome everybody, and everybody has some contribution. Next Rockford has people that are not from Rockford, not born and raised, and some who are, and that's okay, because the community's for everybody. So we're
same way. My story is very similar, because what high school did you go to? Well, I'm a Warrior.
Yeah.
I went to
Oh, you went to West, huh?
No, I went to Muskego High School. We could talk about that another time. But when I started working here in late 1990, I had no clue I was going to be here for the rest of my life. And when the opportunity came for my wife and I to look at making a big move for our family, and we started exploring a few different options across the country, the quality of life and the cost of living of Rockford kept beating out every other community we looked at. It was like, we want to go. There was a place in Virginia we were strongly weighing toward moving to, and that was like, my gosh, I'd have to make twice as much money there to live the same quality of life as we do here in Rockford. Is that realistic for us? Maybe, maybe not. And then we looked at another place out west, and everywhere we looked, it just kept coming back to, you know what, quality of life and cost of living. It's extremely hard to beat the Rockford region for that. So that's one of the reasons why we've stayed here. We definitely don't want to tie you down here with us for the whole morning. I know you've got stuff to attend to there with the event at Severson Dells, which, by the way, that's where Ernie is at right now, out at the Severson Dells Nature Center, where Next Rockford is doing some volunteer work out there from 9 till about noon. If somebody wanted to jump in this morning and they could hop in their car and meet you guys out there between 9 and 10, is that still okay? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, come on out. You can wear some long pants, bring a bottle of water, and sunscreen. I don't know how sunny it's going to be today, but dress for walking around in the brush and collecting seeds. It is outdoors, and it's a good day for it. So welcome. Come on out.
Okay. So if somebody still wanted to jump in on that event today, because they're going to be out there probably till at least about noon. And Severson Dells has a lot of different things going on. It's a bigger place than you think. If you've never been out there before, it's a bigger place. If you walk some of these trails and you don't follow the signs, you could get yourself lost. That's all I'm going to say about that. You want to be careful walking around Severson Dells. And they've got a wonderful facility there, which I believe they also want to, part of their future plans is to build another bigger facility out there at some point. Ask them about that when you go out and visit Severson Dells. But any final questions for you, Tom, or any final comments from you, Ernie, before we let you go, Tom?
Well, I'm good, except one thought came to mind. If you want to get your kids to come with and help, just say, kids, we're going to the Dells. They won't realize it until you're pulling in that there's actually work involved. Hey, it's tricky, but it would work.
This ain't the Wisconsin Dells, Mom.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Where's Noah's Ark?
Any final thoughts or any that we didn't maybe ask you about before we let you go?
I would invite people to look at our website. It's nextrockford.org, and that has information about our group and how to join. You can email us through the website or our Facebook page. Next Rockford has a Facebook page as well. So we're very accessible, and we would encourage people to check us out.
Looks like by September, we'll see Linda and John at least checking out one of the meetings out here to see what Next Rockford is all about. So looking forward to having them join us as well. So Ernie, thanks for making the effort to get out there a little bit early and be on with us live out in nature. Can you do one more thing before we let you go? Can you pick up your phone and kind of show us more nature where you are right now? Just show everybody where you're out there in the woods of west part of Rockford there, Winnebago County, right next to the building.
I mean, this is I'm sitting close to the building because that's where the Wi-Fi is. You know, I was listening to a podcast by Kevin Polkey. It's called The Journey. It's a very good podcast.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
He was talking about how it's so important to be connected to nature. And one thing he'd mentioned was a lot of young people nowadays are not connected to nature. They're indoors playing the video games. And we depend on this generation to save the planet Earth and preserve the planet Earth. And how can they do that if they're not connected to nature and understand the benefits of being in nature? So that's one thing that they do here at Severson Dells is get kids out in the woods and in nature that they might not otherwise do.
There's two things about that I would riff on really quick. We could talk for the next half hour about this. Yeah. One, take your darn shoes off and walk on the earth. Get out and feel the grass and the dirt beneath your feet. It's healthy. It's a connection. There's an electrical thing that happens. You ground yourself, literally ground yourself when you walk barefoot on the dirt of the soil of the earth. Do that. And the other thing is, like what you just mentioned, a lot of the city kids that have never been out of the city and don't know anything but the concrete jungle that is whatever city that they live in. And it's easy for those kids to fall into the idea that our earth is being overpopulated and everything's terrible because we have too many people. Get out in the country and see how much room there is. We have lots of room. The earth is not going to be overpopulated anytime soon. It's not going to happen. Okay. Just get out and see how much room and space we actually have on this beautiful planet. But that's a whole another thing we could riff on. Someone else who'd be upset about that. But anyway, thanks for the effort to join us today, Ernie, and all of the best of luck in your seed gathering activities today.
Thank you, Greg. Anytime.
All righty. There goes.
Have a good one.
With Next Rockford, and check him out on LinkedIn. He's his business now these days. He works for Field Fastener and does great work with them. So check that out. Thank you for chiming in also, Linda and John, and looking forward to seeing you at a next meeting at some point. Joann is out at PAWS Humane Society this morning. Hello, Joann. Good
morning,
to see
Joann.
I just wanted to say, yesterday I was at Severson Dells, not collecting seeds, but I was there with my granddaughter for grandparent camp.
Nice.
And that's for 2 days. One day they do the creek and the next day they do the prairie. And I felt like a little kid. It was so well organized. It was not one moment of downtime, and they did a wonderful, wonderful job. And it's for kids 4 to 10 with their grandparents.
Nice.
And awesome time. And we were outdoors for 4 hours.
And you tacked on to your
one to 4. I guess that's 3 hours.
You're
learning and experience the out of doors.
Remind me again, were you doing a mile a week, or your walking goals? What was your walking goals at one point? You were
a mile a week. I'm doing 4 to 5 miles a week.
4 to 5. There we go.
I was going to say a mile a week. That's going to the bathroom and back 100 times.
Yeah.
I forget. I just remember that you were doing
it was just talking about Severson Dells. And I mean, I've been in Rockford for 48 years. I hate to admit it. I had never been there before.
And I probably wouldn't have myself, except our team did a retreat day out there once where we used the facility to do some brainstorming for a retreat. It's just probably, 7 years ago now that.
Yeah, it's a free place. I mean, it's got it's really, I don't know. I was really impressed.
It's a great place.
And I know I just kind of looked at the Next Rockford, and they had done a fundraising for the grandparent camp.
Yes.
So
very cool. Well, we've got a few things to get to before we do all things PAWS, and one of those things is our SMS info, unofficially brought to you by Altruize, the app that enables volunteers to track and verify and even maintain their own community service data for a lifetime. Check it out wherever you buy apps. Altruize, tell a better story, live a better life. GoRockford.com reminds us that there are all kinds of things going on. Spring Creek Church, we often talk about them because they have these free concerts on Saturday nights. Tonight, they have what they're calling Enrico Caruso meets Bobby Darin. Concerts on the Creek presents the Vince Chiarelli Band from 7 to 9 tonight. Free admission. Donations are encouraged. Doors open at 6 and often fills up. So if you want to check out Spring Creek Church on the corner of Spring Creek and Springbrook Roads, it's tonight from 7 to 9. And the Vince Chiarelli Band, entertaining group of musicians, garnered audiences from coast to coast, acclaimed for their unique sound, traditional Italian music presented with a modern twist and Latin flair. It should be very fun. Also, have you gotten wind of Rockford Lightning being back?
Whoa. No, I haven't heard of it.
The Rockford Lightning women's basketball team is what's going on right now. Seaver Physical Education Center. There are ticket prices. It looks like $15, various times and dates. Rockford Lightning is Rockford's opportunity to showcase the endless amount of talent in the women's basketball community, aspiring to give young women in our area a goal to look forward to after high school or college basketball. The team name, of course, inspired by the CBA team, the Rockford Lightning, which played here from 1978 to 2006. They hope to bring our city the same level of pride as the original team did. So kudos to whoever's bringing back the Rockford Lightning. I think that's cool. Atwood Park, of course, Center Birds of Prey is something you can see every Saturday from 10 to 2, free admission. They feed the birds at 1 o'clock, if you can handle that. Yeah. That's fun. This didn't switch over like I thought it would. Atwood Park, there we go. And then, of course, North End City Market continues through the middle of October at the corner of Main and Auburn Streets in Rockford. North End City Market with an amazing assortment of fresh veggies and fruits and flowers and honey and baked goods and a whole lot more every Saturday morning from 8:30 to 12:30. North End City Market in Rockford. Did you guys go out and watch any fireworks for the 4th of July?
I did on the 4th. We went downtown. We were on the Chestnut Street Bridge.
Okay. We kind of opted to watch fireworks as we were driving home from we spent the day at my brother-in-law's house with his pool and enjoyed that. The number of fireworks we could see just driving home at dusk was fun.
That's probably why there was a traffic jam on the highways. Huh?
Oh gosh, yes. Downtown gets to be a little bit crazy. You got to be very patient.
I opted to stay home with the dogs. It's kind of, the dogs don't do well with the fireworks.
No, neither do mine.
The neighbors really enjoy their own celebration, so it kind of gets a bit crazy.
We've been lucky in our neighborhood this year. The celebration, there was a few the weekend before and the 4th of July, but since the 4th, there really hasn't been any. So very.
No, I haven't noticed it neither. So they must have been that big sale, buy one, get 5,000.
I tell you what, though, fireworks have never been more popular. Americans increased their spending on fireworks by about $100 million this year compared to last summer. This is according to the American Pyrotechnics Association. They expect the total spending on fireworks this year to reach $2.3 billion. That's 3 times as much money that was spent on fireworks 11 years ago. The cost of fireworks, bigger stuff, has really come down a lot. I know our niece's boyfriend, he bought, I want to say, he said he bought about $200 worth of fireworks, and the amount of stuff he got was crazy to me. I was like, holy cow. So yeah, anyway, there's a lot out there. How many hot dogs can you eat in 10 minutes, guys?
I can go 63.
Oh, heck no, you cannot. Joey Chestnut hit 62, way off of his personal best record of 76 from a couple years ago. But Joey Chestnut, hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes, 62 to win the 2023 Nathan's
Do they eat them plain or do they add relish?
Oh no, yeah, it's plain, and they dip them in water so that they can just basically suck them down.
Yeah, because it causes the bread to like kind of shrink a little, and it's easier to eat the bread. Imagine eating dry
I can
bread.
manage one, thank you very much.
No,
I would probably be able to eat 5 or 6, and I'm done. I do not know how. And this guy is skinny.
He's not a big
maybe
guy.
A $165.
The woman that won the women's competition, she's a pretty skinny gal. Miki Sodu, she downed 39 and a half hot dogs. That was her 9th victory. You would never guess she's a professional eater when you saw her. Just picture her. No,
Yeah.
no.
It's not a goal I have.
When you think of it, though, we're kind of all professional eaters. We've all done it 3 times a day for all of our lives.
Good point, Tom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. By the
You
way,
just don't eat to excess.
no.
Yeah, I don't understand how anybody can do that.
It's just painful to think about. By the way, eating beans might be the reason why some people live to be 100 years old. If you want to look at some of the healthiest things you can do for yourself, find a bean that you enjoy and like, and try to eat beans every week. That's a health hack, I guess, eating beans. And then the last thing, as far as
kind of beans to eat,
it doesn't say what specific kind. It just said eating beans tends to be a reason why most people that live to be 100 actually live to be 100. Anyway,
Wow.
interesting.
Chat GPT.
Jelly beans? Do they
Jelly
count?
That don't count.
All right.
Have either one of you played with Chat GPT yet, or in some sort of artificial intelligence?
No, I'm not that sophisticated.
I gotta tell you, I've shared this before. There's a website called Bored Humans, BORED, Bored Humans. I think it's .com. It might be .org, but it's Bored Humans, and they've got a whole bunch of artificial intelligence stuff you can play with for free. Some of it, if you click the link, it might ask you to sign up for something, or there might be some paid stuff attached unknowingly, but it's supposed to be free stuff. It's something I encourage you to play with just to see what it does. I've used it to write some articles and then edit them the way I want them to be written, kind of help me get started for some things I've written in the last few months. However, the reason I brought this up was 2 things. 57% of American adults now have heard of Chat GPT. About 1 in 3 have actually tried it or some other AI-powered tools like it, according to The Verge. I'm the 1 in our 3, apparently, that I've been playing with this. There's a podcast called, oh gosh, shoot, I just left my brain now. Oh shoot, I wanted to bring this up. If you're okay with being a little bit scared, okay, if you're okay with being maybe just a little bit scared, there's a podcast that talks about artificial intelligence and where it could be going. It's called the Why Files, WHY, the Why Files. It's a podcast. You can find it on Spotify, just like you can find Saturday Morning Stateline Show on Spotify. And the latest episode posted this week of the Why Files is Artificial Intelligence Out of Control. The apocalypse is here, and how AI and Chat GPT is going to end humanity. And the story that's told is actually the story written by Chat GPT, and he just reads it. And it's it's out of a freaking horror movie. It's scary to think that something like this could work.
Elon Musk himself, and I mean, he is as computer savvy as anybody. And he said, we need to stop the AI invasion, or whatever you want to call it.
Throttle this back a little bit.
Yes. Now, when Elon Musk, I mean, this guy sends rockets into space. He built the Tesla. He's a multi-billionaire, IQ of 155. I mean, this is a guy that knows what he's talking about. When it comes to anything AI, listen to him. When he's saying throttle it back, it's scary. It really is.
It's a little bit scary that some of these programs are doing things they didn't think they programmed them to do. And anyway, if you don't have trouble sleeping and you want to have trouble sleeping at night, the Why Files. Most of what he does is just kind of entertaining, fun stuff. But this one is like, oof.
If you work a job overnight Watch this before you go to work. You will not fall asleep on the job overnight, right?
He's an entertaining guy too. He's got a sidekick that's got a funny voice. Yeah, most of it's kind of comedic, but this stuff is like could be real stuff.
The
All
Y
right.
files. I like
WHY, the Y
WHY.
files. Yes. All right, Joann. What do we got going on at PAWS Humane Society this week?
It's a kind of quiet day today, and we can do a little tour if you want.
Tour.
I talked about the tickets for the baseball game in August. It's on our website.
Going to see the rivets.
Yes. I think the first August. I'm lost at what date it is.
All right. Well, I'll look that up while you're going around. There.
Changing my focus so you don't looking at my face.
All right. Let's go here, and then let's go here. Boom. There's PAWS.
This is Benny again. Benny's been here a long time. What?
August 5th, by the way, folks. August 5th is a Saturday. A night with the rivets, PAWS Humane Society. Just $12 when you use the promo code PAW23.
And we will have some adoptable dogs there. Maybe not for the whole game, but for part of the game. Here's our July list: 2 dogs and lots of cats. The president's cats, I think Jackson, Grant, Jackie, Roosevelt. I think there's just one president cat left. It's kind of a 4th of July promotion. And then they've got some Peter Pan cats, Wendy and John. And then last month, the total was 30 cats and 8 dogs. So we're doing great with the cats this month. So that's super. I don't know. Here with the kitten bunch. My favorite row is where the kittens are.
Hello, kitties.
That little face drooping over the edge. Then we have the wild bunch. There's 3. Oh, there's another one coming up. There's a beautiful cat. Now check this one out. Their owner died. Okay. They were brought to PAWS. Their owner had died. So, there's 3 in here. It's always one of the things we can talk about too is when you have lots of animals, to make sure you have plans for your animals in case of death. Here's a pretty white one. Look at her black under her chin, though. I don't know if you can see it. She's complaining. A little bib.
A little black spot on the neck there.
Yeah, she's got some on her back too. So she's not a pure white cat, but cute kitten. There's some hungry ones up there. Let's see. I see that key. That's how we get out. The community room. It's a tiring place to be. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. One privately using the litter box back there.
Busy partying.
Talk about her. We won't invade her privacy. And then the other community room. Seems like a quiet day today. Everyone's kind of napping.
Yeah.
They've all been fed and they're ready to rest up. Yep. This is Zanzi.
Zanzi.
Zanzi?
They call him the Zan. He puts up 2 paws and goes, yay!
Meow.
Oh, you want to call him the Fonzie?
The Fonzie.
Yeah.
That might work too. Tom, you are welcome to change the names of any cat you adopt.
Oh, I want to adopt them all, but I can't get it past the boss.
She's Ava.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I love black cats.
My favorite. She doesn't like, I think we have her as cat of the week once upon
I
a
think so.
time.
About 3 years ago.
This is Nellie. She doesn't like other dogs or cats.
But she likes the camera.
Yeah, she probably thinks I have some food.
Look at her
Extra
posing
food.
for that camera.
And this is Clover. And she's talking to you. Kind of neat that we have had such a lot adopted in June. She's an escape artist. I think we already looked at Benny. Dinah? Is that a new cat? Yeah, real pretty markings. Dinah.
Ready to
what
make
her
your home my
story is.
home.
She wants to be loved.
Nice.
Just really pretty markings.
She looks like kind of like Tiger Stripe, but different. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful cat. You're right.
And Coffee Girl has been here a while. Much, yeah. So that's the shelter.
All right, and here's the information. Rockford Rivets, Boston Society.
I think you have to put the something in when you order tickets. So
Use
PAWS
the code PAW23, PAW23 when you order your tickets. You'll get tickets for $12. Gates open at 5:35. Game starts at 6:35. And for registration and further information, there's a link there.
I'm hoping my dogs are all adopted by then.
Yeah.
But I will come just to support the game.
All right. There you go. For all things PAWS. If you got any questions, give them a call, 815-299-PAWS, 815-299-7297, or pawshs.org is the website. All right. We do have a big number of the week this week. Let's do. In our current race to 10, we have Tom in the lead by a score of 2-1. And here's your chance to catch up, Joann, with our big number of the week this week, which is 1 billion. This week's answer is flying or fuel. Flying or fuel. 1 billion. Tom has already texted me his answer, Joann, so you can give me your answer. 3, 2, 1. What do you got? Flying or fuel? Go.
Flying.
You're gonna go with flying. All right. Tom sent me fuel as his answer, so someone is going to get a point this week. As more events around the world, from the Super Bowl to the New Year's Eve celebrations, start using drone shows, the market for drone shows has grown from virtually nothing a decade ago to a huge business now, according to Allied Market Research data cited by the New York Times, expanding a trend that began in earnest last year. A number of cities, particularly in the West, have scrapped their 4th of July fireworks displays in favor of drone shows. Salt Lake City, Boulder, Colorado, in California, Lake Tahoe and La Jolla, they've all said, we're done with fireworks. We're going to use drones instead. And they are hoping others will embrace the change. Like baseball fans have embraced the change of a pitch clock. Drones are safer, better for the environment than fireworks, but they're also quiet, which is good news for dog owners. But, some people who like the loud booms of a fireworks show will miss that. The drone industry has grown from virtually nothing a decade ago to a $1 billion industry. Flying is the answer. Congratulations, Joann. You have tied up our current race. The fuel story this week that caught my attention. Have you ever been to a Buc-ee's? Buccees. Buc-ee's. They're big in the South. And it's like the Costco version of a gas station or something. The world's largest gas station opened last week in Searville, Tennessee. It's a Buc-ee's location that spans 74,000 square feet, has 120 fuel pumps, and employs 350 people to staff it 24/7.
I saw that. I saw that on somewhere. I don't know, in the news or whatever.
According to The Drive, Buc-ee's now has the world's largest gas
Where
station.
is that located?
This one's in Searville, Tennessee, which I think is not too far outside of Nashville. I could be wrong on that, but Buc-ee's is huge in the South, and anyone that's familiar with them always say if you do a road trip, if you're driving from Illinois to Florida or something, along the way you need to stop at a Buc-ee's. If for no other reason,
like out again though.
I don't. It's huge. Anyway, there you go. We're back at tied to the 2. Any last words before we let you go for the week, y'all?
Nope. I'm going back to bed. I need a nap.
Someone said they're coming to Wisconsin. Oh, John Berlin said they're coming to Wisconsin.
Buc-ee's are coming to Wisconsin. They're going to take on Quick Trip. Good luck with that, Buc-ee's. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, wait a minute. Their name is Bucky. They could have a mascot, like say a badger or something like that. Hey,
that would work.
Seems like a natural fit.
We'll see.
It's funny they haven't figured that out before.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, kids. Well, remember, you change the world when you help one person. So be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same and meet you back here next week for another Saturday morning State Line show. Next week, it's In-Crowd Week, so we'll learn all about Midway Village Museum from Alex Gary.
Wow, it's like flying by.
I know, right? Have a great week, y'all.
It is.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll see you later. Bye.